Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And just before I hit that live button today, I said, you know what? It's time to do some exploring on the light side, right? Which sometimes for me, it means the outside. I guess for most of the time, it means for me the outside because the inside can be heavy. It can be heavy in the experience and it can be heavy in absorbing understandings and understanding people sometimes. And sometimes, I get it right. Sometimes I get it wrong and I surprise myself in both, right? Because I am convinced quite often in aspects and understandings, and then something comes across my path forcing me to play with it, to experience, and then I understand that maybe I got the picture all wrong, right? And then I start rethinking it and I start pulling things apart and putting things back together just to have another experience prove me wrong in the opposite direction where I was so bang on. It was like I was seeing it in a picture only a half an hour ago. And, right? And it is in that balance and in that work that each one of us gets to do. In that, it was kind of like, when I was in the lessons of narcissism, and I was so convinced that my mother was a narcissist just because the personal experience that I had, right? But then in the lessons, we start to learn about putting ourselves in other people's shoes and learning about other people's perspectives and how they're reading into an experience or reading into a relationship and how we can easily get it wrong. And if we're getting it wrong, then the people that we think have got it totally wrong have got to be able to have that chance to be seen and be heard and have an offering of possibly being right, right? As much as we can think that we don't get it wrong, right? We do get it wrong. And as much as we are convinced that we get it right, we get it wrong. And we get it right, right? And so we have to forgive ourselves quite often and we have to forgive others. And sometimes we have to lay down the groundwork of saying, okay, I'm not moving any forward with this. If this isn't true, like, why am I working myself up? Why am I turning friends into foes and foes into friends? And right? But it is that feeling. It is in that moment of saying, I can't take another step and taking a look around at our surroundings and saying, what is around us that could help us make that next step forward? And you know what? That source could be a foe. That could be somebody else just looking to make some movement themselves and just as stick as you are. But somebody you might not on the norm ever associate that you might have kind of, right, right. Oh, that's right. I don't want to be seen with that crowd. And some of the greatest kindnesses have come into my life from people from the lowest of lows. And then even in myself, being that lowest of lows, have people come out or come up or come down to where I was at to give me a kindness. It's in these lessons that we're not the smarty pants in this. And everything is always okay, right? It's always the way that it's supposed to be in that moment. But because of our hypervigilance, because of that hairy, scary, that we're ready to jump on at any moment, even if that thing that we're ready to jump on is only a trigger in something that, well, we experienced before. And because it didn't turn out right, we're not giving any more chances. We're not opening up. We're not going to let that wall down, and we can lose out on that. It's so much in our failures that we learn where we are failing at, and we get to truly recognize, right? Some of these silly ideas that we have. And also, we can come to recognize that somebody who might have been, or just like, I don't know, or that's the foe, that's the enemy, that's the problem, that we don't let ourselves get close enough to recognize that maybe, just maybe, they're the solution. And I think I'll leave it at that. It's a nice little short one. Nice little short one, because it was a lesson in my life yesterday. Grateful for however the lessons get to me, right? Because it clears the air. It clears it so that you're neither looking at it as if it's the problem anymore. You're not focusing on it like it is a problem when might not even be a problem, right? And it gives us a chance to move on to something else that needs our attention. And everything out there is vying for our attention. Grateful for the subjects that are catching my attention and vying for my attentions, because they are serving me. And I hope they serve somebody else. Okay, just 2 minutes, guys. Oh, maybe a couple more. Ooh. Ooh. I'm doing that because this is a word that's been popping up a lot, like popping up a lot. And I haven't delved on it, but maybe because I want that ooh and that little bit of surprise in my face when pulling this up. But this is popping up every single day. In right, I understand. Once you focus on something, you see it more often. But this word is right there. It would have come across my path guaranteed somehow today, but guaranteed, oh my goodness, even yesterday, numerous times. That, and I wonder if that's been in your life right now, right? This word, this wanting to break free, this word freedom, that kind of signifies that you're escaping from something, starting something new, being your own leader, right? Because that's what freedom is about. It's something I've been fighting for, literally, right? In defensiveness, and looking for what's keeping me from my freedom. And that freedom is myself. It's been in, right? Right? I've had opportunities to make some big, big, wicked 90-degree sharp turns in my life just in the past few months. And I fed off of that. And that's the truth. I fed off of that a little bit. But also at the same time, right? Being a student and being a spectator. Spectator is huge right now. Another word that's coming across my path, that we should not be such a participant in what's going on. We should be paying attention, right? Not necessarily like delving in as a student, but just leaving ourselves open in paying attention. There's a difference, because sometimes when we're studious, we are focused only on that one thing, right? But in the other aspect of it, we are kind of open to everything. Being a spectator, we are kind of just, right, paying attention, keeping your eyes out around, because, right, in this moment, I feel the need for freedom, right? It is bubbling to the surface, because the word consistently is bubbling to the surface in conversation, because I don't feel the freedom, right? Physically in my life, that freedom is not there, except in the choices that I'm making. And that's a bumpy ride in itself. But maybe it's in that bumpy ride where we can find that opportunity to break free a little bit, right? that bumpy ride. And a ride is kind of a spectator kind of thing, right? Kind of just sitting there and just seeing where life takes you, where the conversations are leading, right? And not being compulsed, right? Because, like I said, everybody's vying for our attention in that, even me, right? But in that attention, where are we putting that focus to, right? Are we sitting in video games and being preoccupied and so busy that we can't even let a thought come to our brain except where's the next, I don't play video games, where's the next jump or prize box or demon or something that you gotta, right? And that's just keeping us so busy that we don't have an opportunity to be spectators, because opportunity, right, does lie in the spectatorship, right? Because when you are being a spectator, you can see the opportunities, you can see the offerings of the world, you can see how things are moving a little bit. And you have that opportunity in our choices to join in on the conversations that you overheard, or you can see a couple of people and you go, oh my goodness, okay, like I'd like to be in on that experience, right? But if you're so focused on, and I'm just using video games as an example because it's a great example, and I wonder for myself, it's just that just to preoccupy people, just to help them to get through what we're going through? Or is it really just to keep us busy so that we can't hear ourselves, that we can't connect with ourselves, right? That we're truly missing the bigger picture and the bigger message, which is different for each one of us, right? Right. But that freedom is popping up in the conversations, truly is popping up in the conversations, and I suspect, right, we'll have that evidence that it is, just in my own experience, in my own life. Like even yesterday, oh my goodness, I have no idea how close I got to freedom yesterday. Right? But I am grateful that I had that discernment, and that's what it is, right? And there's lots of opportunities for discernment in being a spectator, right? And maybe that's the answer for me, just to, and that's what I have been doing that, but also at the same time, I've been a little bit hyper vigilant and a little bit focused on that, right? So I'm grateful for the other things that come across my path that make it so that I'm not so hyper focused on that, that I'm not paying attention to other things. Okay, you guys, I'm running off to work, right? I know that roof, that job that puts the roof over my head, that offers up freedom. It does. It takes the worry and the stresses of my house bills. It keeps the roof over my head. It allows me to take in the lessons and be in a comfortable space and have good equipment to get that done, right? That's movement. That's movement for me, right? Right? For each one of us, we get to make that decision. And if you decided to come and hang out with me for this one, you guys, you're probably making a little bit of movement in that direction yourself, even if it doesn't look that way. Y'all have to start somewhere. Oh my goodness, right? The idea is that you don't start way back where I started, that you're getting a little headway, right? Under the belt, that you'll be able to do this a little bit faster than I did, right? Or I am. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. Have a great day.